man, we really appreciate you having us on your show. We really are humbled by, all the social media outlets that have been kind of, getting us on their show and giving our brand some exposure, giving their listeners the opportunity to, get to know our brand, get to know what Amendola is about, Amendola Cigar Company is about, and so we really appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So I know you. So if you could introduce yourself, just so people know who you are and what your role within Amendola is, I think
I'm
that'll be a great
Chris Monaco.
start.
Yeah, Chris Monaco, co-owner and director of sales and marketing with Amendola Family Cigars. Been on this journey for about 3 years. Me and Jeff partnered up, officially partnered up 2 years ago, but we've been doing this together for about 3 years. The last 3 years, we've been working hard to kind of rebrand, go to new factories, just get out there, try to just get our product in the hands of, the cigar community and just get the exposure to our product. We believe that, we have a good product that can compete on the market, and we're just trying to get it out there, and that's it. Obviously, our brand is all Italian themed because both me and Jeff are from New York, Italians, born and raised. So we kind of, doing this thing. He kind of started it, and then I added a little bit to it, and now we're building the house, and we're seeing what we're gonna make here. See what we're out of this thing, So
how did you two meet?
we met through a mutual friend. He was actually in the area in Charlotte doing an event, and the person he was doing an event with was the mutual friend. And I guess after the event, he ended up telling him, listen, you got to meet my buddy. You guys would get along. You cut from the same cloth, from the same area, obviously same heritage, around the same age. He's like, you guys got to meet. If anything, just hang out, smoke a cigar, talk. And he knew that I was trying to get in the business too. I just was trying to look for the right thing to invest my money and my time into. He thought that would be a good match, business partner. So, brought Jeff by, and, we stayed up till like 5 o'clock in the morning, just drinking, talking cigars, talking shop, busting each other's balls, and, just getting to know each other. And it was, we instantly just, I don't know, we just had a connection, man. We had a connection. Like sometimes people, right away whether you like them, you don't like them, or if they're going to be an acquaintance or a good friend. And we both immediately knew that we were going to be very, very good friends. So, it just it flourished from there. It just started off, where I was just trying to help him out as far as some of the sales, get some bigger accounts, and then it started getting bigger and bigger. And, like I said, he knew I was trying to get into business. He needed a partner. He was looking for the right partner. And, at a certain point after about a year, I was like, listen, man, I'm not going to go off and do my own thing. I've been doing this for, at that point, a little over a year. I helped establish the brand. Why am I going to go start something from scratch? And he was like, dude, I don't want you going nowhere. We work well as a team. So let's just partner up 50-50, do the damn thing and rock it out and see where it goes. And that's, for the last 2 years, pretty much, what we've been doing. We've had a lot of big changes, necessary changes that we both felt we needed to do to get the brand where we wanted it to be. Both had, a lot of input and ideas on what direction we thought we should go in. And little by little, we started chipping away at one thing at a time. And here we are. Now we're with, some of the best factories in Nicaragua, in my opinion. We're working with some of the best people in the industry to work with, real down-to-earth people. We're really humbled by that and blessed, to have that opportunity. We just got picked up for distribution with Illusione, which was a big thing for us as well. And, now we're just, now that we kind of feel that we've gotten to that point where all the things that we wanted to do, as far as getting the brand to the point where we feel comfortable really putting it out there to the masses and trying to, make a run at this thing. We feel that we're bringing a product now that we're really proud of to the table. And, we're only working hard to make it better. I mean, we could always make it better. I say that all the time, you're never perfect. No brand is perfect. No company, if you're not trying to make it better every day and figure out new ideas and new stuff to put out, then, you're already lost. You should just sit down right there. If you're not every day trying to better and better the brand or whatever it is that you're doing. We're both hustlers, so I handle more of the, behind the scenes stuff, the sales, things getting to the logistics, things getting where they need to be, the financials, stuff like that. Jeff obviously is very well, his big thing is rolling, blending. We both do a little bit of both. I mean, when we did all these new blends, we did them together. When I do sales, I always, even if I'm putting a deal together, he still has input. If he has an event that he's putting together, I'll still have input. So we both wear both hats. It's not like one does only one thing and like we both kind of wear both hats if we have to. But definitely, we have our strengths and we lean on them. So we lean on each other's strengths, and kind of go with that. So far it's been a good run, man. We're really happy with where things are going, but we're not done. We got a long way to go. We got a lot of bread to eat. So we just want to keep our foot on the gas and keep it fucking rolling, man. Like that's it, man. So, we just,
what
we're just
surprised
really,
you?
what surprised me?
Being in the industry as long as you have so far on the manufacturing side, has anything surprised you so far that you maybe didn't know, as coming from just being a consumer to now being a part brand owner?
It's definitely, yeah, it's definitely different, and not in a good or a bad. It's just different. It's just when you're a consumer, you want to taste everything. It's more about collecting. You want to know the stories behind the brands. It's a little different when you're in the business, especially with manufacturing. You see how much hard work and when you're a consumer, you don't really realize how much behind the scenes and how many moving parts are to put in a successful brand together. Now being in the business, I'm learning every day, man. I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years. I think I'm getting my sea legs. I'm learning how to deal with people and network and deal with our factory partners and cigar bands and box manufacturers and all this stuff. Just distributors and internet. There's a lot to it. So you learn as you go, and I'm always learning. But I definitely feel like I'm starting to get more comfortable with things. But yeah, I mean, as a consumer, you think it's just make a cigar, roll it, put a band on it, and it's it. But there's just so much more to that, man. Design time, design costs, boxes, getting files into digital. So there's just so many moving parts, man. That's probably the biggest thing that I've learned is how much behind the scenes really goes into putting a good brand out, so.
And in terms of, I know people always want to know, like, how do the smaller brands kind of compete with the larger brands out there? Do you even think of things like that? Do you see it as competition, or do you just kind of see it as you and Jeffrey are kind of doing your own thing?
Obviously, I mean, everybody that's in a humidor is our competition, So, it just depends on, listen, you got to set realistic goals. When me and Jeff talk, as far as like each year that went by, we had realistic goals. Like, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I want to sell 1 million cigars, but we've been around for 3 years. Am I going to do that next year? No, it's not even no way. That's not going to happen. So let's be realistic. Last year we did, 50,000 or 75,000 cigars. This year we want to do 150,000, 200,000. Year after that, maybe do 300,000. And you know, you gotta be realistic, you know. So yeah, they're all our competition, but also, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I used to be a consumer for so long, so I'm definitely, my finger's always on the pulse to see what else is out there, smoke it, you know, like I don't know what's up with some of these other brand owners, like, oh, I don't smoke anything but my own stuff. Like that's great and all well and fine, but if you really love tobacco and you really love this shit, like, and these some of these people are your competition, you should smoke a variety of different things, in my opinion. So one, you could develop your palate and, you know, and expand it. And two, you could see what the competition is doing different, you know, and then you kind of know where the bar is to get to that level. I mean, if you don't know what your competition is and you don't know what the level you want to get to, how are you going to get there, you know? So, you know, yeah, I mean, it seems as competition, but also, to be completely honest with you, and I'm sure Jeff will agree with me, maybe it won't, I don't know, but at the end of the day, you know, and we don't pay attention to what other people do or think. We're gonna fucking do what we're gonna do, what we want to do, how we want to do it. Some people like it, some people don't, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. You know, like not everything is for everybody, but at the end of the day, we're gonna stay true to ourselves, true to the people we are. We're trying to just be who we are and not be anything different or, you know, 100 years of tradition. We got that. You know, we're not trying to make up BS stories. You know, what you see is what you get with us. And you know, that's it. You know, we appreciate all the people who've done, you know, up until this point have supported us. You know, we're hardworking guys, you know, blue collar guys, and yeah, we're just trying to get to the next level, man. But at the end of the day, yeah, I do pay attention to other brands, and I do smoke other cigars, both for my pleasure and both just for to see what's out there as far as competition. But at the end of the day, you know, all in all, you know, that makes a very small impact on what we're gonna do because we're gonna do what we, you know, want to do and how we do things, and that's just how we roll. So,
And when it comes to the marketing, like how do you market your brand? Because I know back in the day, it was all about putting an ad in a magazine, you know, one of the top magazines in the industry, and you would hope people will come from that. Like, what do you rely on to help, you know,
well,
get the word out about your brand?
honestly, you know, we're like most smaller brands. I mean, you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars for marketing where we could just go, you know, buy a spread and aficionado for $100,000. You know what I mean? You know, so our marketing, you know, the flexibility on marketing, our budget is not super high. I mean, a lot of our money goes into our product. I mean, because at the end of the day, you could do marketing, you could do this, you could do that. You don't have a product to sell. You can't make money. So at the end of the day, you know, it's inventory. Right now, you know, we obviously have Gabriel, which big shout out to Gabriel from Creativus, man. He's been a big asset to our brand thus far in the last couple months. You know, we've kind of linked up with him to kind of deal with all the marketing. But before that, honestly, it was just by word of mouth, getting out there, doing events, social media. A lot of the clubs have been very supportive. The online clubs, Bower Burners, woo, big shout out to them. Familia Sindicato, Ashhole Cigar Club. You know, so we want to make sure we give all them the love that you know is due because you know we wouldn't have gotten this exposure without guys like them really believing in us and giving us our brand an opportunity, you know. So, you know, at the end of the day, man, you know, we always say, you know, you never forget where you come from. You don't forget the people that help you get there. You know, that's how we were raised. We're loyal to the people that are loyal to us. We always will be. And you know, so I mean, that was a big part of our success in the last 2 years was definitely, you know, the social media aspect stuff, and that's kind of how we rolled until we linked up with Gabriel. So old school. You know,
What's one thing about the industry that kind of drives you crazy right now?
thinking about the industry, it drives me crazy. Well, right now it's that like, we can't do events. So that probably right now, if you're saying right now, one thing about that is that we can't do events because, you know, we like to be out there, man. You know, this whole thing, the reason why I get into this and why I love it so much and why Jeff loves it so much, you know, it's the community aspect of it. You know, it's not just the cigar itself. It's obviously, yeah, the tobacco, the tradition, the history, the stories behind the brands, the people behind the brands, but it's also the people in the brick and mortars and the people in the shops and their stories. And, you know, so, you know, us not being able to do events and, you know, laugh with them and bust balls and, you know, go back and forth and share, you know, the experience of smoking a cigar, that has definitely been annoying. So, I mean, you know, but on a flip side of that coin, is this past year, due to COVID, it has gave us a lot of time to do the things, you know, that we wanted to do when we partnered up. We wanted to make changes. There was things that we wanted to do that we didn't get a chance to get around to do because Jeff was so inundated with events. You know, I was so like just balls to the wall, like focused, laser beam focused on just like accounts, you know. So, and then like, you know, design. And so once COVID hit and it kind of put everything else on to a stop, you know, that's where we got that opportunity to really sit back, you know, and do all those little things that we've been neglecting, that we knew that we needed to step our game up on and fix, but weren't able to at the time because we were just so busy. And, you know, I mean, like I said, we don't have employees. It's me and Jeff, you know. I mean, we're starting to get some brokers now, but all in all, the daily operations is me and Jeff, you know. So, and then thank God, you know, big shout out to, like I said earlier, to Illusione. That's been a big part of you know, of us being more organized and making this thing a well-oiled machine. You know, as far as them being able to eventually get us, you know, into the international market, the reach that they have, the professionalism, how it's streamlined our, you know, like I said, the daily operations as far as shipping, receiving, invoicing. You know, so, I mean, I was doing everything on PayPal before, you know, getting banged and slammed by PayPal fees. And, you know, so like, that's really changed things. It's given me an opportunity to take a little pressure off my shoulders of not always having to, I mean, listen, I always pay attention to all that stuff, the financials and everything else, but like, I know I don't have to worry as much because I have people that do that. Like, that's what their job is. That's what they're very good at doing, that, you know, for us. So it's given me a little bit of, you know, a little weight off my shoulders to kind of breathe and focus more on some other aspects of the brand other than just constantly looking at invoices and shipping and who's getting what and is this getting there. So that's been a big help as far as on the operations side of things. So
I mean, in a few minutes we're going to tap in your partner here to tell us a little bit more about the blends and stuff like that. But, you know, what's one question we should probably ask your partner when we get him on? What's one question that you would kind of pose to
him? One question I would pose to him: is he drinking scotch or is he drinking bourbon tonight?
That's a good enough question.
That's it. All right, good.
That's a good enough question. So you know, as we get ready to make the switch over in a couple minutes, I mean, just tell us, like, as the marketing person, I mean, what do you want people, retailers especially, to know about your brand, and why should they take a chance on it to bring it into their store, and why should a consumer, you know, switch over from whatever, you know, they're used to smoking and take a chance on smoking what you all are making?
If you're looking for something fresh, something new, something different than what everybody else is doing, you know, something that, a brand that is, you know, we've diversified our portfolio as far as using, you know, 3 different factories. You know, a lot of brands, I'm not saying we're the only brand that does that. There's a lot of brands that do that too. But, you know, that was a major factor of some of the changes we made. We wanted to do that. We did that purposely. We wanted to diverse our portfolio with different flavors, you know, different factories, they ferment differently. Things taste, you could get the same wrapper leaf from two different factories, it tastes totally different because of the fermentation process, you know, all that other stuff. So, you know, my biggest thing to them would be like, just give us a shot. You know, we're hardworking guys. We're down to earth people. We're very accessible. We're very, you know, on top of our brand. We're not just two guys, you know, guys that say, you know, make a blend and, you know, throw a band on it. Like, we're very, you know, we take our time. We buy tobacco here. We you know, roll out blends and try to taste what we want so we can go back to the factories and kind of give them an idea of what we're looking for. So we're not just two dudes that are just like, all right, you know, let's call a bag and horse, tell them to make us just a blend and throw a band on it. It doesn't work like that, you know. I mean, there are companies that do that too, and that's all well and fine, but, you know, we're trying to get the best that we can out of our factory partners. And, you know, if you're looking for a brand that's a solid, you know, brand through and through, you know, you know, just to our core line, just to give you an example, I'm smoking the Maturo now. You know, that's out of Aganorsa. I mean, you can't beat it for $10. It's an hour to hour and a half smoke. You know, and it's going to be consistent every single time. You know, and you know, just give it a shot. You can't. The worst you lose is $10 if you don't like it. But, you know, I'd be very surprised with the diversity that we have in our portfolio, with all the stuff that we're putting out from all the different factories, that you wouldn't be able to find at least one blend out of everything that we're putting out that you don't like. And the other thing too that we do a little bit differently is, you know, a lot of brands, man, they come out, and that's okay. I get it. You know, everybody likes different sizes and vitolas and all that, and we get it. You know, but we kind of went on the business model of like, listen, make one blend in one size and make it awesome, and don't make 50 sizes of it. Because I feel, in my opinion, even as a consumer, I remember, you know, you get a cigar and then you get that one blend and you'd look down the whole row and it'd be like 25 sizes of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, for us, we'd rather just make one solid. We make Toros. Our core line stuff is Toro. You know what I'm saying? We have different ends on each of them. One's a tapered end. You know, one's a pigtail. One's a, you know, our Cremoso's got a regular round head. But, you know, I just feel like that you're overwhelming people, and especially as a smaller brand. Like, people just want something good. It's very simple. It's very easy. You don't have to be like, oh, that size is better. It tastes a little different than the Lancero, the Robusto. No, one size. It's an awesome blend. Great burn time. Great construction. Consistent every time, and it's $10. You can't beat it. You know. So that's another thing. We don't take. You know, we don't take up. We're not going to try to take up, you know, your whole shelf with one cigar that's got 10 sizes, you know. So we blend to the size, and we usually, and we're trying to stay in this model where when we make a blend, it's going to be in that size and that size only. And when we make something different, it's going to be a different blend. It's going to be a different cigar, you know, and that's it. So, I mean, you can get our stuff, you know, if anybody's looking to see, you know, where a lot of our stuff is available. Privada Cigar Club has been a big supporter of ours. You can get, right now he has all our core line stuff. He will be getting the cannolis when they drop. Atlantic Cigars, same thing. Frontline Cigars, VS Cigar, Kerry Viajante, and also, what was the other one? I'm sorry, I'm missing somebody. Oh, Sir Lewis too. He's going to be getting everything. So, yeah, man, all I can say is if you're looking for something fresh, something new, some, you know, newbies in the game, little something different, give us a shot. You lose, at the worst, you lose $10, and you know, at the best, you gain a new brand in your humidor. And we always say this too. You know, as a consumer, I know, and as I said, I smoke other people's stuff. You know, I know there's a lot of good brands out there. Me and Jeff both know that. You know, and we're not looking to be the only brand in your humidor. We're just looking to be in the rotation. You know, we just want to be a part of the conversation. That's it. So if you could just make us a part of the conversation, smoking Amendola, make it part of your rotation, you know, we're happy. So
awesome.
That's it.
So I'm gonna let you tap out, and then I'm gonna tag Jeff in.
Tapping out.
And we're gonna talk about
tapping you in, Jeffy. I'm tapping you in. I'm tapping you in, man. That's all right. Jeffy's better looking than me anyway. He's got better hair, so he's cuter. You'll get more. You'll get more likes with him, right? He's got a better personality too.
Okay.
Better people person. I'll talk to you later, man. Nice talking to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for coming
Go get
on.
him, Jeffy.
Thank you.
Deuces, man.
So we had an awesome intro from your partner.
Yeah, yeah.
And now we have you here to tell us about these blends. And you and I met earlier today.
Yeah, right.
I didn't have the time. For those who weren't privy to our conversation earlier, we both live in the same city.
Yeah, same town.
Same town, same city. And it's like one of the funniest stories because our city is known as like Tobacco Central back in the day. And now it's the most anti-tobacco.
You can't smoke anywhere.
Anywhere.
It's like no smoking signs on the street.
I
Tobacco,
know, so
tobacco campus. No smoking. The hypocrisy. This is crazy.
But here we are, and I
Yeah.
have your blends here. So we kind of got a nice intro to, how, the company, which is great. And, now I just want to talk about the main thing, which is like your actual cigars. And if you could tell us something about the factory partners that you work with, because I think a lot of people kind of think, if you're outside the industry and consumers, you don't realize like you're working with some pretty big factories and some pretty big people out there. So
I can't even believe it, to be honest.
So it's a pretty big deal. I mean, some of these blends. So I just want you to be able to talk about these for the last 30 minutes that we have. Just talk about these blends basically, and kind of tease people and get them all excited about going out and finding these cigars and trying them for themselves.
Right, right. Which you should. Whoever's watching, if you haven't, you're missing out. A little bit to piggyback what Chris was saying about the blends is that we just love tobacco so much, right? When I got into this business about 10 years ago, I learned how to roll cigars myself. So I took all that knowledge I learned. Chris has an awesome palate. So together, we'll go out and buy tobacco and blend and roll together and try to create something really unique and different. But end of 2019, we got a project to do for Privada Cigar Club. And it was for a cigar called the Cannoli. And the factory we were at the time, due to logistics, we just knew it wasn't going to be able to be made there, So we were blessed with certain relationships. A big part of this business, actually in any business, the key to success, in my opinion, is having the right relationship with people. And I'm a firm believer that people come in your life for a reason, It's not by accident certain people come or go. It's always, in my opinion, I firmly believe that's for a reason. Our distributor at the time was really close with Eric Espinosa in La Zona. And we were sitting around like, what are we going to do? We don't want to throw away this project. We don't want to let it fail. This is a great opportunity for the Amendola brand to really get out there. One phone call to the La Zona guys, hey, I got the Amendola boys right here. We're trying to do have a project needs to get done. In a matter of a week, we were making that cigar, right? And from that, we were able to do our whole signature line out of La Zona with Eric Espinosa in Nicaragua. That's awesome. And then a couple months down the line, we needed to do our core blend. And Chris said we wanted to diversify, keep things interesting. We didn't want to put all the eggs in one batch because I did that in the past and got burned a couple times. And I thought, well, let's just see. Let's just put this out there and see what happens and see who we could find to give us a shot. And one of my mentors, good friends, he's like family, is Brian Matola with Illusione Cigars. Mm-hmm. He called me out of the blue and was like, hey, man, you guys need a new factory. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, we got Eric doing our stuff over here, but we need our core line done somewhere else. And he's like, all right, call Aganor Salif is waiting for your phone call. I'm like, really? I'm like, that's awesome. In the back of my mind, I always thought that would be a great idea, but would they give, us a chance? Who am I? Nobody. And sure enough, I got on the phone with Terrence the next day, and in about a week or two, we were doing blends together. So all of a sudden, we go from like not really knowing what's happening to now making 3 blends with Eric, 1 or 2 of which are being actually made at AJ Fernandez factory. to utilize some tobacco that we wanted, that he had, some wrapper leaf. And then our 3 core line blends are at Aganorsa, and I'm just blown away by being able to work with those people in the industry. It's very humbling, and I'm very excited about it. And I think we got some good product, really.
Let me see. So these are the product.
Yeah, that's our core line. Yep.
So tell us about this one.
So that's the Cremosa right there. That's it's an Ecuador, Connecticut wrapper, Corojo binder, and it's actually got Ligero from 2 different regions in it. So it's not your traditional Connecticut. I mean, it's got some flavor. It's very, it's not boring. But I mean, it goes from being a spice bomb up front. It smooths out to being real creamy, you know, almost like like a cream, like a coffee cream. And it's not boring at all. I love that. Chris smokes one every morning. He's got me doing it now. I got to smoke one every morning with coffee to get my day going. That's a great, if you like a Connecticut cigar that has flavor, that's very flavorful, that's a cigar.
Because I'm a big fan of Connecticut's myself.
You like Connecticut? Okay, so yeah, you definitely got to smoke that one. That we've had a lot of Connecticut guys say, "Wow, that for Connecticut." You get the wrapper, but you're also getting that Corojo binder, which has a lot of flavor to it. And of course, Aganorsa grows all that stuff, and they have that very distinct tobacco profile, right? And put it all together, and it's a great Connecticut cigar. Great Connecticut cigar. And we kept it traditional with the cap. It's got a triple cap. What's that one? The Maturo? That's what I'm smoking right now. I think one of my favorites out of the core line. Chocolatey, espresso, rich. I love it. It's got the Corojo, dark Corojo Maduro. And we call it Maturo. In Italian, that means Maduro. So it's got the Corojo wrapper, Corojo binder, and obviously we're using all Aganorsa filler from Esteli and Jalapa. This is a great, any time of the day cigar, but we actually blended these cigars to be like morning, noon, and night. If you wanted to think of it that way, and I tend to do that often. My morning cigar is the Cremoso, the Naturale is like a nice afternoon, anytime, and then the Maturo is great, evening, dinner, after dinner. Yeah, we specifically blended for those times of day. However, smoke them whenever you want. But the Maturo, this Maturo is, if you're anybody out there is a Maduro smoker, this has some really good flavor. It's almost sweet. It's full body, but it's got some of that sweet notes from the wrapper leaf, which is very nice. And it has the tapered end too. It's just sort of a bellicoso, which makes it stand out a little bit.
And then and you just mentioned this one.
I love that one too. I mean, that one has some sentimental value to it because when I first learned how to roll cigars and put the wrapper on the cigar, I learned by doing a pigtail, and that has a pigtail on the top. So every time I see that, it kind of brings me back to that's like the first cigar that I learned how to blend and put together. But the Naturale, man, that's like the Maturo, pure Nicaraguan. It's a Nicaraguan Habano wrapper, all grown on Aganorsa farms, has a Corojo binder as well. And that cigar actually has no Ligero in it. It's all Seco and Viso. And you wouldn't know. It's super flavorful, not overwhelming. It's very smooth. But the wrapper actually is a little bit darker than your normal Habano. Some Habanos have that like tan, light brown, just darker than a Connecticut. That one actually has a little more richness to the wrapper, which I thought that was a great pairing to put all together with the Corojo and the Seco and Visos from there. That is a great anytime cigar. I almost recommend that cigar for people that, a lot of times we do events or we're in shops and people ask, what's a good cigar if I'm just starting out? And I put them onto that one. I think everyone's palate would appreciate what that cigar has to offer.
Now, you have a background in retail as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what did you kind of learn from the retail side that you were able to bring over into, once you started your own brand?
Yeah. So I learned a lot, man, to be honest. But when I was a retailer, though, I only sold cigars I made. So I was making like 12 to 15 different vitolas, different blends to appeal to everybody, because they're coming in my shop, we're rolling cigars. I want everyone to have something they like, since I'm not carrying other brands, which that got a little overwhelming. But I was able to really hone in and figure out what people gravitated to when they came into a shop looking for a cigar, right? And that's what Chris touched on a little bit with the sizes. We were making, Churchill's, Robusto, Toro. We had one cigar called the Commitment. It was like a 60 by 7. We had little petites. One of my rollers at the time would make these little, we call them Tainos, like the native Indians from the DR. And we had everything. But I learned from leaving the retail shop into just focusing on the brand, putting cigars on the market. Don't overwhelm people. Make a solid blend to the size that we put out. Toros are one of the top selling sizes. So let our core line be Toro. I knew people coming into retail, they gravitate to that size. It's not overwhelming. Then again, it's not super small. They feel like, the consumer feels like they're going to get their money's worth out of that size. We stopped doing Robusto because those would sit on the shelf. And we went, instead of doing Robusto, we came out with a cannoli line, which is Coronas only. Also very unique, but a lot of people I learned in the retail game like the short cigar, 30-minute, 40-minute smoke when they couldn't sit down and enjoy something longer. So I listen a lot, man. I tend to be, I listen more than I speak. And I spent like 4 years in that shop. A lot of hours, a lot of conversation, met a lot of people from all over. And really, I think it was beneficial to go from that into just full manufacturing and come out with product, because you learn so much and about what people gravitate to and what they like. So I think that's helped putting a solid product on the market.
Now, I asked your partner this, but I'll ask you, like, what were you, when you finally got into the full-on manufacturing, side and brand ownership side of the business?
Yeah.
Is there anything that surprised you in particular that you were like, oh, I didn't know that as just a consumer, or that kind of just took you a little bit by surprise?
Yes and no. Because I kind of, when I started in manufacturing, where I just automatically started working with raw tobacco leaf and rollers and things like that. So I kind of, well, that surprised me. I had no idea what really went into making a cigar. But I will say that the stuff that maybe not surprised me, but I thought were really valuable, was learning about blending and what these master blenders and guys do behind the scenes in the factory, fermenting the tobacco. And I thought it was really interesting how you could buy the same tobacco from the same farmer, same crop, and you give it to 3 different people, and it's going to be a completely different cigar. You can tell. I could say you and I sit down and roll cigars. We have the same tobacco. Guaranteed, it's going to be a completely different cigar. And they tell you, here's your Viso Seco, Liero, whatever. Something's going to happen, and we're going to make 2 different cigars. I thought that was, fantastic, because my creative juices started flowing. We're like, wow, all this tobacco comes from the ground. Everyone's buying it to make their own creation of a cigar. I thought that was really cool. And that got me excited to be able to be different,
And what's your advice? Because I'm sure you encounter a lot of people who either want to open their own cigar store or they want to create their own brand. What kind of advice do you give those types of people?
Yeah, man, I get hit up almost weekly about that. or people want us to help them blend or get them in the industry. We get a lot of questions. I always say, number one, you have to love this. This is a lifestyle business. It's not you don't come out of college, business school, and think, oh, I'm just going to go make a cigar. You have to really be passionate about it. If you don't live it, if you don't love it, and you're not in it for the long haul, then it's probably not going to be a good business choice. It's not a get rich quick type of business. It's definitely, we always say this, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And here's the other thing, and this happened to me when I first got in the business. The business is so small. It appears to be big, but really it's small. I went to a trade show in Germany 2 years ago, Intertobacco, and I was sitting in a room, and I realized that anybody and everybody that was doing something in this industry was in this one room, and it wasn't that many people, really. So if you're trying to get into this business, how are you going to do it if you don't know anybody? Or, for me, I had to just figure it out on my own. I got help later on, but because I put myself out there for years, finding my own tobacco source, finding my own factories in the beginning, blending on my own or whatever, moving a roller here to work with me to learn this process back years ago, and then meeting Chris, all these things. If you don't have, if you're not networking or have people that like you or want to really be involved in your success, that it's really difficult. Not to say it's impossible, but time, money, network, and passion. That's what you got to have. And patience.
And I think a lot of people don't really think about that part.
No.
They fall in love with the idea of having us on the label or their own name on it, and then they don't know when you get into this industry that everything is so interconnected, and that a relationship carries over into it leads to all these doors opening for you, even more relationships opening, and if you're not doing that work, you're kind of stuck in kind of treading water.
Yes, because it's cool. Yeah, I get it. It's cool. I always want to have wine with my name on it. I don't want to make wine, but I love wine. I do make wine, actually, at home. But I always thought it'd be cool. Not that I want to go sell it. I just want to have it because it's cool. My name's going to be on it. But, I mean, say, you get in the business, you have a product, now what? Mm-hmm. Now what? The factory's going to have you buy X amount of minimum cigar, order out of the factory, whatever. Now what? The reason Chris and I hit it off and kind of took off that first year was, all right, you have me doing all these events. I'm in front of people for the past 3 years, different cities, different states, recognize a face, right? Then you got Chris, who got these relationships with people that have a large platform of sales, whether it be online or lounges, phone calls. Hey, dude, I got this project going on. What can you? All that together makes it successful. It's relationships, really.
Well, going off of that, how do you find the right partner? Because I think a lot of people too sometimes think they can do it all alone.
Yeah.
They have a hard time, after a certain point, delegating stuff to other people or giving pieces of responsibility to other people. So how do you find somebody that you're not going to be driven completely crazy by?
Yeah.
A week or two into it, after you kind of bring them in big time, how do you find that perfect match?
So I had two really bad partnerships in the beginning. Just did not work out. 6 months in, bad, got burned. Since then, I became very protective because I felt like, my name's on this thing. I spent all this time and energy and my own finances to get to where I'm at. But at the same time, I got to a point where I'm like, I know my strengths and weaknesses. I'm taking on a lot. I can't focus on everything and be successful at every single thing. I'm okay with saying, I know I'm good at this and this really well. I don't have to be good at that. I just have to find or be connected with the right people who are. Someone always told me, don't focus on what you're not good at. Because, at this point in my life, my age, why? You know what you're good at. Focus on what you're good at and be better, right? But I also wasn't really I was looking for a partner, but I wasn't like pushing it. And that's why Chris and I have such a great relationship, because we became friends first. And helping, he wanted to help me out. I knew he wanted to get in the business. I'm like, hey man, this guy's going to bat for me. He's buying product out of his own pocket to give away. Then we became like brothers, right? So we're hanging out, we're doing family stuff, we're going on trips together. It all just, like I said in the beginning, people come in your life for a reason. I really do believe that. And the partnership I have now with Chris, business, personal, it's just effortless, kind of. It just fits. He knows his lane, I know my lane. We work well in the same lane together sometimes, and I'm blessed. That's all I can say, because I've had the bad. I've experienced that, and to have it now is so refreshing. And you could actually, well, I can see the growth already just from a good business working relationship, right? It's just really nice to have. Not easy to find, but if you do, it's good. And it's something that'll last for a long time. As long as we stay good, the brand will succeed 100%.
So as we near kind of the end of our hour together, what's next for your brand? What can people look forward to this year and even beyond this year?
Yeah. Well, Chris mentioned that we just signed a distribution deal with Illusione. So right off the bat, the plan is to see more Amendola in retail establishments, online, in the U.S. and in an international market. The plan also is to get out on the road more, do some more rolling events, be seen more. We have 2-3 brokers that are working for the Amendola brand in Florida, Illinois, Minnesota, and working on one in the tri-state area. So the next step is the team is growing. We went from making X amount of blends per order, X amount of boxes per order. We've tripled and quadrupled that in the past 6 months. So we're expected to grow a lot this year. 2022, we are planning to attend the TPE. We're going to sit this year out. We're not going to do any trade shows this year. Focus on building up inventory, finalizing some of our relationships with the brokers and our sales force, just to make it solid, And yeah, I say this from the beginning, 9 years ago, that we're not going anywhere. We're in this for the long haul. If I was ever going to quit, it would have been 3, 4, 5 times already. So I'm just excited that people are paying attention and giving us an opportunity, especially people like you, giving us this platform to talk about our brand and what we love. So you're definitely going to see more of that. You're going to see us out more on a bigger platform, I think, and I'm really excited about that. I look at this as a like I said, this is not a get rich quick type of business. I wanted to create this to build a legacy, for my children, for their children. It's not about fame. It's not about it's about making money, but more important, it's about leaving something behind, right? So that's why the long-term goal is don't stop.
So what are all the social media and websites that people watching this or listening to this need to follow in order to keep up with you and your brand?
Yeah, so definitely this platform here, Amendola Family Cigars on Instagram, Amendola Family Cigars on Facebook. We have a Twitter account as well. Our website is amendolafamilycigars.com. If you want to learn a little bit more about Chris and I, about our history, the brand, where to buy our product. You can find that there as well. Pictures, all that stuff. And that's the best places, man. I mean, social media, we're on it across the board. I mean, so follow us, like us there. Easy to access. If you want to talk, do business, hang out, smoke, hit me up, hit Chris up. Facebook as well. And again, AmendolaFamilyCigars.com is the website.
So I guess in the last minute or so that we have, I asked Chris the question, what's one thing in the industry that really drives him crazy? He said the fact that you all can't get out to events.
Yeah.
So I asked you that same question. Is that the same thing, or is there something else that might kind of irk you at this moment about the industry?
Yeah. Well, the events for sure. Don't get me wrong. That's my thing. I love doing that. I love being out. I'll do 4 events a day. I'll go all over the place, But the other thing right now that's been really frustrating is getting product on time. Because factories have been understaffed. There was actually a little cigar boom, ironically through this time, partly due to not enough people working, but a lot more people are smoking. I think percentage-wise, it went up 8 to 10% of cigars that are coming in the country, right? So that would be one of the biggest things right now that's irking me, is like we're so anxious and we're getting this like traction, a lot of things working, but like we have to wait a little bit longer to get our product, which I tell myself it's okay because you don't want to rush. Can't rush a good thing, right? But that I get antsy. I get very anxious, and I want it now. I want product here. I want to get it out to people. I want people to smoke it. I want to smoke it. But I'd say that's the one thing: just waiting and being patient on, working with our factory partners, make sure things get here on time.
Somebody asked, do you still produce the cigar with the sweet tips?
Yeah, so that's our dessert cigar. I think you're probably talking about. AtlanticCigars.com got them online. It's sugar tip and it's hazelnut, age infused hazelnut, vanilla. It tastes like Nutella. So yeah, we got them. Get them while they last.
Well, awesome. Well, like I said, thank you both for coming on. I'm sorry we couldn't all be on at the same time.
Yeah, no, it worked out.
I think we made it work, and it was fun. Like I said, I kind of like the one-on-one because it gets a little zoomy with more people, right. And I've gotten to the point where I kind of hate the zoomy.
I know.
Bit where you have 5 people on the screen at one time. Looking over here and over there and all this stuff. So I'm glad it worked out like this, that we were able to have both of you on today and got to learn, about the marketing side from Chris, and got to learn about more of the blending and cigar side from you. So, like I said, thank you so much for coming on today, you and Chris.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us on the platform, man. We really appreciate your time doing this. Seriously, thank you.